Today, we profile Henry Ford. In 1903, he started Ford Motor Company and built the first Model T car known as the Tin Lizzie. It transformed the world. The father of the moving assembly line and modern manufacturing. In 1914, he revolutionized the approach to labor by introducing the $5 workday. Henry Ford was born on July 30th, 1863, on a farm in Dearborn, Michigan. He grew up in a rural setting, but from a young age, he showed little interest in farming. Instead, he was fascinated by machines and mechanical devices. As a teenager, Ford spent much of his time taking apart and repairing watches and farm equipment, trying to understand how they worked. This curiosity laid the foundation for his future career as an inventor and engineer. In 1891, he was hired by the Edison Illuminating Company, eventually becoming its chief engineer. This position provided Ford with financial stability and the time to experiment with his own inventions. Inspired by gasoline-powered engines, Ford began working on a self-propelled vehicle. In 1896, Ford completed his first automobile, known as the quadricycle. Although it was simple and not very practical, it proved that Ford's ideas could work. However, his early business ventures were not successful. His first two automobile companies failed due to financial and management problems. Despite these setbacks, Ford refused to give up. He believed strongly in his vision of producing a reliable and affordable car for ordinary people. In 1903, Henry Ford finally achieved success when he and his partner, Alexander Malcolmson, Detroit's largest coal dealer, incorporated the Ford Motor Company with $28,000 in cash and $21,000 in promised funds from 10 other investors. With the support of the investors, the company began producing automobiles that were simpler, cheaper, and more durable than many of their competitors. Ford's most famous creation, the Model T, or Tin Lizzie as it came to be known, was introduced in 1908. The Model T was designed to be easy to drive, easy to repair, and at $850, affordable for the average American family. It quickly became extremely popular and transformed the automobile from a luxury item into a common household product. One of Ford's greatest contributions to industry was his development of the moving assembly line in 1913. He developed the idea of a system in which every worker has the duty to do one small part of the process of making something. His idea made it possible to produce cars in large numbers at his Highland Park factory. By the end of the year, Highland Park employed about 13,000 men. As a result, the price of the Model T dropped significantly to $360 by 1916, making it accessible to millions of people. The assembly line revolutionized manufacturing and became a model for factories worldwide. Ford was also known for his approach to labor. In 1914, he introduced the $5 a day wage for an 8-hour workday, replacing the previous pay rate of $2.34 for a 9-hour day. It was twice what could be earned at any other auto company. The following day, 10,000 job seekers clamor for jobs at Highland Park. This decision was groundbreaking at the time and helped reduce worker turnover while improving productivity. By paying his workers well, Ford believed they could afford to buy the cars they built, strengthening both his company and the economy. In 1927, Ford's enormous River Rouge factory complex begins full-scale automotive production. The vertically integrated factory is Henry Ford's vision realized. Entire finished vehicles could be built from scratch using raw materials owned and supplied by the Ford Motor Company without dependence on outside suppliers. Ford had once told a colleague that he wanted the raw materials coming in on one end of the Rouge plant and the finished cars going out the other end. In 1929, Ford, with Thomas Edison and President Herbert Hoover in attendance, unveiled the Thomas Edison Institute, now the Henry Ford Museum and Greenfield Village. It would grow to showcase hundreds of historic buildings and artifacts that Ford had meticulously purchased, dismantled, and reassembled as a recreated rural town. In 1941, Henry Ford's engineers broke ground on something nobody believed could work. The B-24 Liberator bomber was a 67-foot beast of aluminum and rivets. Building one took skilled craftsmen weeks. Ford said he could pump them out like Model Ts. The skeptics were loud. Aircraft weren't automobiles. They required precision, expertise, artistry. You just couldn't throw untrained workers at wings and fuselages and expect them to fly. By 1944, a finished B-24 rolled off the line every 63 minutes. The workers? Thousands of women who had never worked a factory job in their lives, famously known as Rosie the Riveter. Despite his achievements, Henry Ford was a complex and controversial figure. He held strong opinions and was resistant to change in some areas, even as he embraced innovation in others. His views on labor unions and some of his published opinions have been widely criticized. These aspects of his life remind historians that Ford, like many influential figures, had both positive and negative qualities. Ford lived to see his company become one of the largest automotive manufacturers in the world. He died on April 7th, 1947, at the age of 83. Here are some quotes by Henry Ford. Whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. Failure is simply the opportunity to begin again, this time more intelligently. Coming together is a beginning. Keeping together is progress. Working together is success. Quality means doing it right when no one is looking. Obstacles are those frightful things you see when you take your eyes off your goal. You can't build a reputation on what you are going to do. There is no disgrace in honest failure. There is disgrace in fearing to fail. If you always do what you've always done, you'll always get what you've always got. Anyone who stops learning is old, whether at 20 or 80. The whole secret of a successful life is to find out what is one's destiny to do and then do it. If you think you are too small to make a difference, try sleeping with a mosquito. This letter is courtesy of the Henry Ford Museum. March 22nd, 1904. Mr. John Dodge, dear sir, deeming it to be for the best interest of the company that a special meeting of the stockholders be held for the consideration of the matters below specified, pursuant to the bylaws in such case made and provided, the undersigned as Vice President of the Ford Motor Company, in the absence of the President, does hereby give notice that a special meeting of the stockholders of the Ford Motor Company will be held at the office of the company at Mack Avenue and the Beltline on Tuesday, the 29th day of March, A.D. 1904, at 8 o'clock in the evening of the said day, Detroit local time. The purposes of said meeting are as follows. First, to ratify the action of the Board of Directors in purchasing for a permanent manufacturing site the real estate bounded by Beaubien and Brush Streets and Piquette Avenue and the railroad track in the city of Detroit. Second, to ratify and approve the plans of the Board of Directors for the erection of a manufacturing plant on said site so purchased. Yours respectfully, Henry Ford, Vice President. Henry Ford's life was marked by determination, creativity, and lasting influence. Through the founding of the Ford Motor Company and the introduction of mass production techniques, he changed how people lived, worked, and traveled. His legacy is monumental. He revolutionized the automotive industry by introducing assembly line production, making cars more affordable for the masses. His innovations not only shaped the way we manufacture products, but also had a profound impact on modern transportation and industrial practices. That's the story of Henry Ford. Thank you for watching. If you enjoy these messages of inspiration and hope, please like, subscribe, and share them with family and friends. And until we meet again, please remember, with God, anything is possible. Small.